The first time you met John Jungkook, he ruined your entire school reputation in under 5 minutes. It was the first day of high school and you were just trying to get through the morning assembly without embarrassing yourself. But then right in the middle of principal's speech, a paper airplane hit your forehead. Hard. The entire auditorium turned to look at you because you screamed. Nice sketch, nerd. Jungkook had whispered from behind, snickering with his friends. That was the beginning of your never-ending war. Since then, Jungkook had made it his life's mission to annoy you, whether it was pulling your chair right before you sat down, messing with your locker combination, or calling you embarrassing names like Miss Perfect. He never missed a chance. But you weren't the type to just sit back and take it. If Jungkook was fire, you were gasoline. One time you accidentally spilled orange juice all over his white hoodie during lunch. Another time, you managed to replace his history notes with a love letter addressed to the history teacher. The look on his face when he found out was priceless. Your classmates were used to your daily battles, the bickering, the teasing, the glares. It was your version of normal. It was just another day in class, and as usual, Jungkook was being a pain. You were flipping through your notebook when a paper ball hit the back of your head. With a sigh, you picked it up and unwrapped it. Your handwriting looks like a chicken danced on the page. Without missing a beat, you scribbled back, "At least the chicken is smarter than you." You tossed it over your shoulder, and a second later, you felt a tap on your head. Wow, Wayne, that was fast, almost like you were waiting for me to talk to you. You turn around to see Jungkook grinning, resting his chin on his hand. In your dreams, now stop throwing stuff before I throw you. Jungkook gasped dramatically. Violence in front of the whole class. See, guys, this is what happens when she doesn't get her daily nap. A few people chuckled as you roll your eyes. I don't need a nap, I need peace, which is impossible with you around. Jungkook poked your arm with his pencil. You would miss me if I wasn't here. Yeah, like I would miss a mosquito buzzing in my ear. Before he could respond, the teacher cleared their throat. Fine, Jungkook, would you like to share your conversation with the class? You quickly shook your head. No, sir, I was just confessing her love for me. Jungkook cut in smoothly. The whole class erupted in laughter as you gaped at him. Excuse me? Jungkook smirked. No need to yell, Ryan. We all heard you. You grabbed a textbook and raised it threateningly. Say one more word and I will. Ryan, the teacher interrupted. Sir, see, she can't handle her anger issues. Seal your mouth or I will do that. I have a needle and a thread in my bag. Both of you keep quiet or I'll kick you out of the class. You glared at him before turning forward. Ryan, I heard you're moving abroad for graduation. The laughter died down instantly. The class turned to you. Even Jungkook's teasing smile faded. For the first time, he looked surprised. You swallowed, shifting in your seat. Yeah, I am. Wait, for real? Someone from the back called out. You are leaving? You nodded. I just got the confirmation last night. I'll be gone by the end of the semester. Your eyes met Jungkook, and this time you have seen a completely different expression on his face rather than that playful smirk that was always there. A murmur spread across the class. Some people looked sad, others surprised, but Jungkook, he was just staring at you. Nice way to fool everyone, but guess what? It's not April 1st. You let out an amused scoff. Every day is April 1st for fools like you, but I'm not fooling. Finally, I won't have to see your face anymore. Jungkook's smirk faltered just for a second, but he quickly masked it. Ha, as if you could survive without me annoying you. You would be so bored. Trust me, Jungkook, I would be thriving in a peaceful, Jungkook-free world. He opened his mouth as if to say something but then closed it again. He tapped his fingers on the desk, unusually quiet. You tilted your head. What? Cat got your tongue? No snarky comment this time? Jungkook blinked, then looked away, pretending to fiddle with his pencil. It would be better if you leave sooner. I'll be happier than ever. You scoffed lightly because his expression and words didn't match. Something about his reaction felt off, but before you could push further, the teacher clapped their hands. Alright, enough distractions, let's get back to the lesson. You turned forward again, but you couldn't help sneaking a glance at Jungkook. He wasn't looking at you anymore, and for the first time since you met him, he didn't have anything else to say. For the next few days, things were weird. Jungkook still annoyed you, but it wasn't the same. He would poke your arm, but he would stop before you could slap his hand away. He would throw notes at you, but instead of teasing insults, they were short and simple. When are you leaving? He wrote it in a paper and threw it at you. Why? Planning a farewell party? You threw it back, but he didn't answer. At lunch, you sat with your friends, but your eyes kept drifting towards Jungkook's usual spot. He was laughing with his friends, but it wasn't as loud as usual. He wasn't throwing paper balls at you or stealing your juice. He looked normal, and for some reason that annoyed you. Wyan, your friend nudged you. Why do you keep looking at Jungkook? You blinked. I'm not. She gave you a knowing smirk. Sure, you're totally not staring at him like he kicked your puppy. I don't even have a puppy. You huffed, stabbing your food with unnecessary force. Then why do you look like you're waiting for him to do something? You had no answer to that. The day dragged on, and when school ended, you stuffed your books into your bag, eager to leave, but just as you stepped outside, a voice called out behind you. Wyan, you turn around, surprised to see Jungkook standing there, hands in his pockets. He looked unsure, which was strange because Jungkook was never unsure about anything. What? You asked, raising an eyebrow. He opened his mouth, then closed it again. His jaw tightened as he looked away for a second before meeting your eyes again. You really leaving? You smiled slightly but hid it. Why? Are you feeling bad? Finally realized that you can't live without me? He scoffed, but it was different. Don't flatter yourself. I just can't believe I'll finally get some peace and quiet. Oh please, if anything you'll be the one crying in the corner, missing me every single day. Yeah, right. The only thing I will miss is winning every argument because you never stand a chance. Excuse me, you mean all those times you walked away because you had no comeback? That was me being generous. I didn't want to make you cry in front of the whole class. He said, crossing his arms while you smirked. Oh, so you admit you go easy on me. How sweet. He rolled his eyes. Don't twist my words. He paused for a second. Whatever. Just go then. See if I care. You expected him to keep teasing, to throw another sarcastic remark your way, but he didn't. He just looked at you, something unreadable in his expression, before turning away. For some reason, that silence unsettled you more than all his insults ever did. The next day in PE class, the sun was shining brightly and the whole class was out on the playground getting ready for PE. Everyone was excited except you. Something felt off. You looked around, Jungkook wasn't there. Jungkook, the guy who never missed PE class, the guy who loved showing off in every game, running faster than everyone, scoring goals and bragging about it afterward. But today, nowhere to be seen. The teacher frowned, looking around. Where is Jungkook? Nobody knew. His friends shrugged, confused. The teacher sighed and then turned to you. Why? Go find him. He might be hiding somewhere. You blinked. Me? Why me? Because you know him well. The teacher said simply. You wanted to argue, but honestly, it was true. As much as you two fought and annoyed each other, you did know him better than most, and the whole class knows that. So, with a sigh, you set off to find him. First, you checked the classroom, it was empty. Then, the hallway, still nothing. Even the washrooms, but no, not there either. Where the hell is this coconut head hiding? You were about to give up when something clicked in your mind. The rooftop. Jungkook liked going there sometimes, usually when he wanted to be alone. Your steps quickened as you made your way up the stairs. The moment you pushed open the rooftop door, the fresh air hit your face. The wind was gentle, carrying the distant sounds of students laughing down on the field, but up here it was quiet, too quiet. You looked around, scanning the empty space, but as you opened your mouth to call his name, you froze. Your heart dropped, a soft sound, broken and raw, a sob. Your breath hitched as you realized it wasn't just anyone, it was Jungkook. Your annoying, loud, full of himself Jungkook, the boy who never showed anything other than cocky smirks and over-the-top confidence. And yet, here he was, crying, your chest tightened. You had never seen him sad, let alone like this. Whatever had happened, it had to be something big. Slowly, carefully walked closer. Jungkook? He jolted, snapping his head up as if he had been struck. His eyes were wide, panic flashing across his face. Within seconds, he wiped his eyes roughly with the sleeve of his hoodie, clearing his throat like nothing had happened. What the hell are you doing here? You crossed your arms, staring at him. He was avoiding your gaze, turning his face away slightly like he didn't want you to see. Are you crying? You asked, hesitating. Jungkook scoffed, his voice laced with forced indifference. You are imagining things. You frowned. Jungkook, I literally just heard you. He let out a sharp breath, shaking his head. Seriously, do you have to follow me everywhere? You ignored that. Instead, you stepped closer, your voice quiet but steady. Are you crying because I'm leaving? It was just a guess. Because he started behaving like this since the day you revealed that you are leaving. That stopped him. He went completely still. For a moment you expected him to scoff, roll his eyes, throw some sarcastic comment, maybe even laugh at you for thinking something so ridiculous. But he didn't. Instead he just looked at you, and in his eyes you saw it. Something raw, something real, something that made your breath catch in your throat. Jungkook, you whispered. He inhaled shakily, his fingers gripping the fabric of his hoodie like he was trying to steady himself. Then finally he spoke. His voice was hoarse. I'm not feeling well. You frowned slightly. Are you sick? He shook his head. Not like that. He swallowed, staring at the ground. I just don't want you to go. Your heart skipped a beat. You opened your mouth but no words came out. Because what could you even say? Jungkook ran a hand through his hair, exhaling sharply. I thought it wouldn't matter, that I would be fine, but then you said you were leaving and suddenly nothing felt right anymore. You stayed quiet, your heart was pounding. He looked at you. I don't know when it happened, I don't know how, but somewhere between all our fights, all the stupid things we did to annoy each other, I started liking you. Your breath caught. I'm in love with you, Ryan. Your breath hitched. Jungkook let out a dry laugh. I know it's crazy, right? The guy who annoys you the most. The guy you can't stand. The guy you probably want to punch right now. Yeah, that idiot fell for you. You stared at him, completely speechless. I don't want you to leave because I don't know what I'll do if you do. Silence thrashed between you. For the first time, Jungkook wasn't being playful, wasn't being annoying, wasn't being the guy who always had something sarcastic to say. He was just being real, and you had no idea what to do. You stood there, heart pounding in your chest, staring at Jungkook as if he had just spoken in a language you didn't understand. He loves you. Jungkook, the guy who made it his life's mission to drive you insane, the guy you swore you couldn't stand, had just confessed he was in love with you. Your throat felt dry. You are joking. Jungkook scoffed, shaking his head. Yeah, because crying on a rooftop is my idea of a hilarious joke. He swallowed hard. I don't get it. Since when? Jungkook let out a heavy sigh, rubbing the back of his neck. Since forever, probably. But I was too busy being an idiot to realize it. And when I did realize it, I was too much of a coward to admit it. He exhaled sharply, frustration flickering in his eyes. I thought if I just kept annoying you, if I kept pushing, you would stay in my life no matter what. But now you are leaving and He cut himself off, shaking his head. I can't just sit back and watch you go without telling you the truth. Your chest ached at the sheer vulnerability in his voice. This was Jungkook, your Jungkook, the boy who never backed down from anything, who always had a cocky grin plastered on his face, who could never not have the last word. And yet here he was, looking at you like you held the power to shatter him completely. Say something, he murmured. You inhaled sharply, trying to gather your thoughts. Jungkook, I don't even know what to say. He let out a bitter chuckle, stepping back. You don't have to say anything. I just needed you to know. But you did have something to say. You just didn't know how to say it. So you did the only thing that made sense. You stepped forward and flicked his forehead. Jungkook blinked. What the? You are an idiot. You muttered. He scoffed. I just admitted I love you. And that's your response? You rolled your eyes, but a small smile tugged at your lips. Yes, because you are an idiot for making me feel like this. Jungkook stilled. Feel like what? You sighed, shaking your head, like maybe I don't hate you as much as I thought I did. Jungkook's eyes widened slightly. I spent so much time fighting with you, pushing back, trying to prove I could keep up with you, and somewhere along the way, I didn't even notice when it stopped being just annoyance. You are a part of my life, Jungkook. You always have been, and I don't know what it's gonna be like without you. His lips parted slightly, then don't go. You let out a soft laugh. It's not that easy. Jungkook exhaled sharply. Then at least tell me this. If I had told you sooner, if I hadn't been such a coward, would things be different? You hesitated, then nodded. Jungkook cursed under his breath. Figures. Silence fell between you for a moment, the wind rustling through your hair as you both stood there, neither one knowing what to do next. You could come with me, you blurted out. Jungkook's head snapped up. What? I mean, if you really don't want to be without me, if you really meant what you said, then prove it. You raised an eyebrow. Come with me. Jungkook stared at you, completely frozen, and then, slowly, that familiar smirk, the one that had annoyed you for years, began to creep back onto his face. Are you challenging me? You shrugged. Maybe. Jungkook let out a breathless laugh, shaking his head. You really never let me win, do you? You grin, not a chance, and for the first time in your entire history of fighting, teasing, and competing with Jungkook, neither of you wanted to win.